Top of the morning to you. Rig. Just want to show you what I'm looking at this morning with my morning coffee, and then I have a message based on this inspiration because it knocked me on my ass. And so what we are looking at is the east rim of the Grand Canyon as I'm sitting just outside the north rim of the Grand Canyon. And I'm sitting here looking at this marvel. I mean, talk about natural, talk about untouched, talk about man had nothing to do with this, right? But what spoke to me was not panning in, but if I were to pan out, this would look like a crack, right? Or a wrinkle of sorts. And what if we judged that crack or wrinkle as aging to the earth, and that aging earth is declining because that's what happens with age, you decline. And we're all moving towards something, but it's never a better something. It's always a worse something. Especially around the words of, if you've been given a label with your healing responses because you reached out to someone that just doesn't get it, or they brand you with your age, or your some part of your history, some event that you just can't get out of the shadow of. Could you imagine if we panned out and was like, oh God, look at that region of the earth, a lot of wrinkles there. Holy shit, we gotta either fix that. If we had the power to fix it, we would. They would try. And the earth would be like, get the fuck out of here. But also judging the beauty of whatever you think the earth is, wherever you think it is, in whatever kind of system you think it is. And if you pan out again, what is it again? And you pan out again, what is it again? But we're judging the wrinkles and the ruptures of these structures as being something wrong with them. Or if we looked at this, what does this wrinkle tell us? Or truly, what does it show? And it shows millions of years of life. Whatever number you want to put to it, because it doesn't really matter. It's all going to be relative anyway. But it's showing the history of the life of this fucking thing called Earth that we are choosing to be here on. Now, let's pan out as we get close to the response to damaged tissue, or we look at skin, or skin is just so great because it's not see-through, so we're not allowed to see the things underneath it, which I think is powerful. Yet we continue to try to find all these technological advances to see through something that we haven't evolved to have it be see-through. So if it was so important for us to see the stuff underneath, I think we'd be born with translucent coverings. But our skin, you can't hide. You can't. But you're not supposed to. We're supposed to show it. And with every wrinkle, and with every blemish, and with every scar, and with every discoloration, or with every ink, or with every, varying degree of what it appears like comes life. Tells a story about your life. What if we just smoothed over all the cracks in the earth? We wouldn't know anything about it. Eventually, if it had a brain, it would lose memory of where it's come from. The power of these moments would be lost. And that sucks. So let's bring it back to human, because the earth is absolutely ideal and it's on its own path. But we smooth over the blemishes. We correct them. We just wiped out life. We just wiped out your stories. We wiped out your opportunities. We wiped out what your analogies are based on. We wiped out what your wisdom, where it's coming from. We wiped out the class. We wiped out the lessons. We wiped out the the experience of you, or we judge the shit out of it as something being on its way to something worse. The more blemishes you have, the worse you're moving towards. The more discolorations, the more cracks, the worse everything's going to be. And I had this epiphany in a visit, in a house call. I forget which one I was saying it to, but it came up, and I was like, you know what? I watch videos, or I hear stories of people that have come from these massive, traumatic events, whether it be a war of some kind, landing and storming a beach, and or a fire, or some sort of disaster, some sort of life event, but the person's still standing in front of you, or the person's holding their camera talking, or the person is literally being interviewed, and it's like, wait, what? I would want to ask that person so many questions, because they're here for a reason. That thing didn't take them. They made it through. Now imagine if we looked at all of those things like, good God, as the person healed from it, as the person did the work from it, as the person saw the reason why they went through it. But now it's, you went through that and are still here. God, what are you going to teach the world? Or what are you going to do? Instead of just neutralizing them or drugging them or doing whatever and just being like, yeah, great story. Now shut up, because you're on your way to something worse. Be quiet. Oh, that's a great story. Like, no. Or utilize that as this catalyst of, wait, actually I did come. Look what I just went through. It could be a number of things. I wonder what I could do. I wonder what I'm supposed to be here. I wonder what I was supposed to learn from that. And that's why I say wisdom is one thing. I really don't give a shit about somebody that tells a wise story. Wisdom applied to the increasing ability of that person to be able to build off of the wisdom from that event. That person is hovering over all of this. That person is just roller skating on light. And I had a kid, I told this story because he came through my office. It was the kid that was attacked by a great white shark on the opening day of lobster season. You all might know him. Forgive me, I forgot his name. I only met him one time, and I was able to have a conversation because he was going to start rehabbing and coming back and possibly playing baseball. They were from the Northeast, I want to say. He was hockey, big time hockey, but he super athletic. And so when they came in and told me the story and told me just everything that had happened and just all the things that fit, I'm literally sitting there on the couch in my office. I'm looking at him. I'm like, bro, teach me. What am I supposed to learn from you? Because you just made it through one of the most amazing stories I've ever heard in my life. The confluence of events that had to line up for this to happen, for you to be here. Just even helivac him in, and even the kayaker bringing him in, even his mom being on the beach, even his buddy thing, and he's just sitting there all peacefully. I'm like, you're here, man. You're here for a reason, and this is going to be so great. I can't wait to see where you go with this. I can't wait to see what you do with this. I also might have said, you have the absolute golden ticket story if you ever start going to bars. Or you're going and you're trying to impress somebody that you might have, you might be drawn to. Like, oh yeah, I was attacked by an 11-foot great white shark. Yeah, bit my shoulder blade into pizza pie pieces and crunched my humerus head like a jawbreaker, but they put me together, and look at the sky, put me together. Yeah, and I'm back in the ocean. I'm still lobstering, I'm surfing. Yeah, so here's what I've done with that. So again, could you imagine if we smoothed out everything if we had the technology to wipe out everything on that dude so that he had no memory of that event? And again, I can't even imagine what it was like to go through it, but we went through it for a reason. We're still here for a reason. It's the experience that is the thing. It's not the intellect that is the thing. We keep compiling intellectualism, keep compiling, and nobody's living it. Nobody's experiencing what they're learning. That's where it comes from. That's why every time anybody meets me with a Zoom, I was just like, because I'm constantly trying to pull this thing apart and shit's constantly happening to me. And I'm constantly trying to see what I can apply to my life to then make, oh my God, look at this level of medicine. Geez, there's where I'm going to change here. Oh, wow, look at this insight. I even talked with a buddy on the way out here to this location. I'd never had this discussion or conversation with him because he never got this version of me, nor I him. And so we introduced ourselves as brand new to each other. We were talking about a topic I never would have had insight on, because I never chose to look at it. I never had the opportunity to go through the experience. And so again, do we really want to smooth out the cracks? Do we want to correct them? Do we want to talk about them like they're on their way to something worse? Or there's something wrong with this whole scenario? If I showed you a picture of the Grand Canyon, would you ever fucking say that there's something wrong with it? Then why the goddamn do we do it with our bodies? There's absolutely nothing wrong with that right there, and there's nothing wrong with you. It's just whether or not you utilize that opportunity to offer you the wisdom to then apply to the actions for you to be able to take and sit and change you, change others, change a household, change the world. Boom. God damn it. I'm so pumped up. Let's go. Have a good day.